I'm Chuck Bargeron. I am the director of the Center for Invasive Species and Ecosystem Health at the University of Georgia. And I'm going to tell you all a little bit about the Wild Spotter program that we're doing at the university and how it kind of fits and how you can get involved in it. So I'm a faculty member in the forestry school at the University of Georgia, and as part of that, about 20 years ago, we developed an platform called EDDMapS for invasive species reporting and distribution mapping. And from there, we now have launched the Wild Spotter program and are partnering with the Forest Service, Park Service, Fish and Wildlife Service, and Bureau of Land Management to expand it across all of their lands. So to understand how all this fits together, let me tell you a little bit about EDDMapS. So EDDMapS stands for Early Detection and Distribution Mapping System, and it is a tool primarily for professionals to document invasive species occurrences and build toward this national North American map of where invasive species are found. And it supplements that with a lot of the information from our Bugwood image database. And we've got smartphone apps that feed into EDDMapS, and this system has grown and it's got almost 10 million verified reports in it today. And so I mentioned verified. So all the reports in EDDMapS are reviewed by an expert of some sort. And so that could be somebody at the state level, that could be somebody that was a scientist, that could be a trained professional, that could be you as a manager of a park, as a natural resource manager of a forest somewhere. And so, most of those come with photographs or expert knowledge of the species. And so it makes it very easy. And it also makes the data that goes into EDDMapS have a certain level of trust in terms of how valid it is. So that gets us to Wild Spotter. So Wild Spotter was built around this concept that we started with the Forest Service to let's focus on place-based reporting. So EDDMapS exists and there's all these tools for entering data, but everything is really local when it comes to natural resource management. So we said, let's build an app that starts out and asks you what place you're visiting. And then from there, it highlights the species that would be of concern in that area, shows you some information about them, and then allows you to, as a visitor, participate in the natural resource management of the land by reporting any invasive species you find. And so all of that data from Wild Spotter goes into EDDMapS, and all the data from EDDMapS is fed into Wild Spotter is all built on this same platform. Wild Spotter is just the interface and the campaign to focus the volunteers and visitors to different public lands. So how does it work? So we all know invasive species are a big problem. Some of the stuff with cutting things down on the trails has to do with different invasive species in different areas. And so what we're doing with Wild Spotter is working toward building a nationwide inventory of invasive species on America's natural areas and public lands. And so we're empowering, a network of these citizen scientists to download an app, use it to help identify the different problems in the area that they're visiting, put those on the map, allow the managers to then get the reports and ultimately help protect, ultimately hope that there would be a management activity done to help clean up these public lands. So why adopt it? Other than it's a free tool that we've built through a lot of different partnerships. It helps the people that are engaging, that are visiting these public lands, to increase their knowledge on the problem, allow them to participate, show what they're doing in terms of participation, and then ultimately help you do your job better as a natural resource manager. So where do you start? So the first thing I would suggest is after I finish talking, obviously, to visit the WildSpotter website. And that has a lot of information about what WildSpotter is. We have general information about what goes on with invasive species, where to look for them, what wild places are part of this, and what different partners are part of this. And then also this last tab over here has a lot of frequently asked questions as well as videos and introductory materials. And then, download the app, check it out, see what wild places around you have already been set up, and maybe if yours hasn't, you could get with us, and we'll go into that in a few minutes, to integrate your wild place. What's really cool about the app is once you set it up, once you download it, once you pull the information in, that even if you don't have cell coverage, there's a built-in queue on the phone where you can take the pictures, save them onto your device, and then when you get somewhere that has Wi-Fi or cellular coverage, then you can upload those reports. We've also included a little bit of information about the wild place and the species that are of concern. And you can even look and see what the current distribution of different species are found in your area. So this is an important slide. If you look this up and your favorite place or the place you manage is not included in WildSpotter, reach out to Caroline Shaw. There's her email address. You will tell her what place you want added, and she will pull together all the information and get it built and then send back to you and say, okay, what do we need to change in this? And what species are you most concerned about? Or what species are you most interested in this area? We'll get those in, we'll add whatever managers need to be added and get the wild place set up for you. And then you can take that and help promote the app to your visitors, learn more about it, engage your other staff at the park, at park or forest or wherever. And we have a lot of materials, both printed and online, that you can use to do that part. And like I mentioned earlier, there's some really good short videos on how to do different things with it. So who are the reporters going to be? So they're going to be your visitors. They're going to be your volunteers. They're going to be the people that are out using the public lands, and where you can tell them about this. They go download the app, set it up, and then they can start reporting. And then as a natural resource manager, you're the one that would get those reports, or somebody that works with you would get those reports and help do that promotion to help advocate for this tool. So you've listened to my few minutes and you go, wow, this is really cool. How can I really dive into this and learn more? So as part of this program, we realized the most important part is the people. And what we need is to build a network of qualified people who are ambassadors to WildSpotter, who are ambassadors to the invasive species issue. So in thinking about that, we have launched this concept of invasive species ambassadors. And so what we're doing is putting on these annual trainings to train people on all of the skills that go along with promoting a tool like this, promoting a campaign like this. And so we have a training that's a 3-day training. We've held it twice now, once in 2023 and once in 2025. And we're going to do it again in February of 27. And so it's a 3-day training. You go online to invasivesfree.org/ambassadors, and you apply to be part of it, and you get accepted, and you can come to this training and learn from experts how to do the people part of natural resource management. So we're not focused on how to identify invasive species. We're not focused on different methods to kill invasive species. We're focused on how you can organize people around this issue, specifically around invasive species and wild spotter, but a lot of the tools really expand beyond that. We look at partnership building, we look at promotion and marketing, we look at different ways to fundraise, and I say that not just as raising money, but in raising support and raising partners to help you on this. We look at volunteer coordination, different outreach, different planning you can do to really implement this. And then we put you in a group, a team, and you're given a real world problem for the last day where you get together and figure out how you're going to promote this in an area that you're currently, working in as part of this training. And so it really pulls in the information given over the 3 days into something that is really applied at the end. So we would love to have anybody that's interested to come learn more about this. Invasivesfree.org. You can click on the ambassador tag and apply for this. It's February 2nd through 4th in 2027. And it's all part of building this inventory of invasive species. It's all part of implementing this wild spotter campaign. So that's what I've got. I will be glad to answer any questions or provide any more information about the app, about the campaign, or about the training.
With that app, you said in regarding the queue, so you can use that because I don't have reception in the area I'm at a lot, and people are able to. You're saying people can use that queue, and then later on, once they have reception, can upload stuff to that wild spotter.
Yes. So what you have to do is you have to get it set up before you get out in the field. But if you
Okay.
do that, you choose what place you're working in, and it downloads the information about the species onto your phone. You create an account, you get logged in, and then you can go out, take pictures. Your GPS is going to work even if you don't have coverage. So it'll allow you to choose a species, take a picture, save your GPS. It all goes in the queue, and then when you get back to where there's coverage, you can upload that queue, and all the records will go into the system.
Okay, that's really cool. Nice. Thank
No
you very
problem.
much.
All right, we have a question in the chat. It says, looking at the app, almost all species have no image available. Any info on when these might be added?
It probably depends on the location and depends on the species. So we have a pretty extensive library of pictures, but if there's certain species you're interested in that do not have pictures for some reason, then yeah, reach out to us and either you can help us get pictures if we don't have pictures, or we'll see if we can't find pictures. But yeah, we'll take a look at that because I know we have a good selection of pictures for that part of the world.
All right, we have another question. What if I mistakenly upload the wrong species?
No, that's a great question. So, that's where that verification process comes into play. Depending on exactly where you are, it's going to depend on who looks at it. But we have a network of over 900 reviewers who get reports as they come in. They look at them and they determine, okay, does that look right? Does it not look right? Obviously, if you have a picture, that makes it a lot easier. If you do not have a picture, then it's kind of relying on whether you're the expert or not, and knowing what it is. So we always encourage pictures. Um, so what platform? This is all built on its own platform. So we don't use a third party tool. It's all an application that we built in house natively for the iPhone and for the Android that uses the phone's built-in camera and uses the phone's built-in GPS. Please check it out and reach out if you have any other questions. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Chuck.